Hello, in this video, I'm going to share a recipe for an easy St. Patrick's Day fruit tart that I'm making with kiwi in order to have something green. This is a relatively easy and healthy recipe because it calls for yogurt as the filling. So if you want to make this, these are the things you'll need to have. If you'd like to have an actual crust, then you'll need a pie or tart crust, either something you've bought in the store or something that you bake. I baked one a couple of hours ago. You just want to make sure that whatever you're using is at room temperature because the filling is something that is no bake. So you'll want everything to be ready to go into the fridge when you assemble. You'll also need a Greek yogurt or some other plain yogurt. You could use a plant-based yogurt if you'd prefer. And then something to sweeten it a bit, not a lot, but some maple syrup, honey, or other liquid, or else some confectioner sugar would be recommended. A granulated sugar could stay a bit grainy and crunchy since we're not baking or cooking the filling at all. Vanilla is recommended for a little flavor, and then we're using kiwi so that we have something green. And then if you'd like, you could add some orange or lemon zest as well, just to give it a bit of a citrusy flavor. Or if you skip that, you'll have more of a vanilla pudding type flavor if you use the vanilla. You can also use some lemon juice or orange juice with the fruit, as I'll suggest, but that's also optional. So here's the recipe. It's very easy. Get your pie or tart crust ready to go, or just have a plain pie or tart dish ready if you're going to go baseless. And then in a bowl, you'll want to whisk together your yogurt and the maple syrup or other sweetener along with the vanilla. And if you're using it, the zest. You could go ahead and taste it. I recommend starting with a tablespoon of maple syrup. That was enough for me, and it's plenty sweet if I want something light. If you want something sweeter, you can add more. But start there and taste it and see if it's good enough, or you can add more sweetener if you need more. And then you could taste it and see if you want to do some zest. It does add a little bit of a citrusy tang to it, which is nice if you like that kind of thing. So get that mixed up and ready to go, and then also peel and either slice or chop up your kiwi, depending on what you'd prefer. If you taste the kiwi and it's fairly tart, then you might want to skip the lemon or lime juice. And if you wanted it to be sweeter, you might even just toss it in a little bit of granulated sugar. The juice from the kiwi will probably help to dissolve that granulated sugar a little bit, although it might still be just a little crunchy if you like that kind of thing. Or you could toss it in a little bit of maple syrup if you'd like, just to make it a little bit sweeter if you prefer that. My kiwi is fairly tart, but I like it that way, so I haven't done anything to it. If the kiwi is sweeter and you'd like a little bit of tartness to it, you could toss in a teaspoon or more of lemon juice or maybe some orange juice to make it just a little tart before you add it to the top of the tart filling. That's your choice. It depends on what you prefer. So here I mixed up the filling. I used actually Greek yogurt with maple syrup and some vanilla, and I added a little bit of orange zest. And here's the tart crust that I baked a couple of hours ago, and I've allowed it to cool to room temperature. This is actually an 11-inch pie dish. So I actually did 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt and a little bit more maple syrup and vanilla and a little more zest, since I did another half of a recipe to fill a larger pan. But if you're doing a 9-inch, you would only really need 1 cup, unless you really want to fill it up with filling. You can always do more. And here are the kiwi. I've sliced mine to arrange around the tart, but you could also chop yours up if you'd prefer. Now I've just poured the filling into the crust, and I've spread it around with a spatula. and it basically fills the crust, but it doesn't fill the dish because now I'll layer the kiwi on top. And here I've arranged the kiwi in slices. You could do it chopped if you'd like, or even cut the slices in half. It's a matter of preference. And if you'd like to really load it up with fruit, you could add more. This is 2 medium-sized kiwi, and the only thing I didn't add was the very ends, since they aren't as pretty looking. I'll just eat those. But if you had more kiwi and you wanted to really load it up, you could do that, especially if you chopped the kiwi or sliced and cut the slices in half. So that's the tart. It's pretty easy. Once you've assembled it, just chill it for at least 30 minutes before you serve it, and you'll want to keep it chilled. Otherwise, the filling could go off if it's at room temperature for too long. There are many things you can do with this. You can get creative. If you don't care about things like sugar and carbs, you can add other things to it. You could do a graham cracker crust or a nut or seed-based crust if you'd prefer, or you could do a cookie crust. Just crumble up your favorite cookies and maybe melt a little butter or maybe a little coconut oil if you like that, and make a crust that way. If you want to do a different kind of filling, you could do half yogurt and half sour cream, or you could do half yogurt and half cream cheese. Just make sure if you do cream cheese that you let that soften and beat it until it's smooth, and then mix it in with the other ingredients for the filling. You could also use a vanilla pudding if you'd prefer, and that would work as well. It's just a bit, a bit sugarier. You don't have as much sugar in this. You can control the sugar if you don't want too much, which is the way I prefer it. So it's fairly healthy, especially if you were to skip the crust completely. And then this is a recipe that you could enjoy year-round if you'd like. It's probably especially refreshing in the summertime since it's a chilled dessert, and there will be lots of fresh local fruits that you can use in the summertime. It will be great with berries or cherries or peaches when they come into season here locally. And there are lots of other fruits that you can get frozen or in the produce aisle right now, or canned even, that you could use if you prefer those. But the kiwi are something you can usually get. They're in season in California, August through May. So you should be able to find some in the grocery store right now, and it will be a nice St. Patrick's Day treat. So I hope that this recipe is fun and enjoyable for you, and you have a happy St. Patrick's Day.